Okay, you guys have been talking about the Industrial Revolution, and that's what this activity is about. So you are already familiar with a lot of the concepts, right? Today we're going to be looking at some photographs, some of middle class and some of working class. And didn't you guys hear in some of his lessons that through Industrial Revolution and the advances in agriculture and technology, and people moved from the farms into the cities, and they got jobs, and then so this working class became really differentiated from the middle class. Remember the middle class? They were the ones that owned the factories, that had the access to capital, and so there was a real division between the working class and the middle class. Do you remember that? Was that all familiar in some of the lessons that you?
Weren't they the ones that worked in the mines?
And the mines too. Yeah, right. Not just factories, but mines. And so we're going to look at this distinction between the working and the middle class. So I'll give you directions first, and then I will let you work on it. So we're going to divide into 4 different groups, and most of the groups will just be pairs, and I'll put you with somebody. And so say, for instance, you are in the leisure group. You have pictures of working class leisure and middle class leisure. And there's some questions on here that will help you when you fill out this little graphic organizer. Leisure's on the top. And so I want you to make observations of what is similar in each of the pictures from working class to middle class, and what are some of the differences, and then kind of be thinking about what are some similarities and differences to today. That will be helpful because we'll talk about that at the end. So each group, put your names on the top of your worksheet. There'll just be 1 per group. You'll fill out your little organizer, and then after everyone's done filling out their sections, we're going to share out together. And so say if you're leisure, you already have the top 1 filled in. So when the other group that's doing clothing shares their findings, you'll take notes on that. So at the end of the class, you should be able to turn in a completed worksheet. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so everybody's going to have a complete one, but you only have to work on 1 section of it. The other 3 sections you'll get from your colleagues. Okay, and then we'll have more discussion after we've finished it. So leisure, I need 2 people to do leisure. Let's see. Will you work on it with Yadira? Yeah. Okay, you can slide your desk over, and if you want, and there's 2 of each picture, so you guys don't have to share exactly. And I'm going to have you and Kit Lang work on clothing.
And me and Sarah.
How about you and Sarah and Katie? Because this one's a bigger one. This is at work and play, so it's almost like 2 at once. And then you guys will do living conditions. If you want to slide your desk over so you can both look. So you have 2 sets of pictures so that you don't have to share. Do you want to join in? Okay, come on in. You know what? You're
Be the 3rd one of this group.
okay. I like it. You're going to join Tyler and Daniel, and look at living conditions. And you're comparing pictures from working class living conditions and middle class working conditions. Okay? Any questions? You guys know what you're doing? Yeah. So I want 1 person in the group to do the writing. Somebody who has legible penmanship. Okay, good. So you have your 2, and you have your 2. So you can, if you want to do the writing, or you can, it doesn't matter. But you might want to use these questions to guide what you're looking at.
Which one's the worker and which one's the...
I think that's one of the questions. See if you can tell. You should be able, with a close look, you just have 1 sheet of working class and 1 of middle class in your section. Can you understand how they are? There's 2 of each.
This one, I believe, is, I think this one.
I know this one is a big group, so maybe you can have Katie do the, so you're going to compare, these are the working class. Actually, for working, I don't think there was a work, childhood work for the middle class. Did the middle class work? I don't think so.
Very, very high. Well, because it's middle class. It's not
So here's all of the pictures you can look at. You can compare all of what childhood was like for a working class person. And here's their play. And then here's the play for a middle class child, middle class children. So just make, you don't have to write, you can just make bullet points and write your findings.
This one I got down here. Looks like it's only one room. And those three doors probably only go to different rooms. Well, they go down to the hallways probably.
I'm sorry? Yeah, here's some. Usually this looks like mining, huh? And here's probably factory. Yeah, that says factory.
These conditions.
I'm sure it's closer.
Yes.
So you just write in here how do you think
This
this
is
one
working
looks
for
like that
middle
one?
class.
Say that again?
Here we, like in here, we're gonna write how this one looks like that one.
Oh, you can just write down what you see in the working class. We'll compare them later, but you can just tell me, or you can tell me how the working class was different than the middle class.
Very dirty environments for working class. Like not near. Like if you look at this, the ground is shiny, and they actually have wallpaper on the walls, and they have furniture and beds and tables and things like that.
Kit Lang, did you guys read those questions? Because those questions are really helpful.
And
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, okay,
I
good.
don't know what these things are.
They can really point you in the right direction.
With no roof, it almost looks like.
Are you doing the writing down now?
And
We write down what he's saying. Can you do that? Or you want to do the writing?
Do you have legible writing? So.
Anna does. Doesn't have to. You only have to read it out loud.
I'll write it. So.
Okay, that's fine.
Working class.
All right. Working. Are you doing living conditions? Yes. Okay. Good. I wonder if they're trying to say that in this one, maybe the woman is as in charge. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Because see how she's kind of standing over him a bit. Like maybe in the working classes, women have a little more authority now. Maybe.
That's for Chloe.
It's okay. If you see it in your picture, you can use it.
Sure. I'd say this probably.
Second name. This one. And this for
Okay, now we're going to give each group a chance to share out what they noticed, what distinctions they made, or what they saw, what they observed in their pictures. And so as they're sharing, somebody from your group take some notes down so that you can fill in your worksheet. And also while we're waiting, make sure everyone in the group's name is on top of your worksheet. First name's fine. Okay, let's start with leisure. So you guys listen up and at least somebody in your group write down what he tells us about leisure, what they noticed in those pictures and how, yes? I think that might be helpful, yeah, so they can see what you're talking about. Visual helps, sure. How about if there's two in your group, one of you can read what you have and the other can hold up the pictures. You want to just come stand right here so they can see what he's talking about, what you guys found. Go ahead.
All right. Where the working class people would socialize, it was more populated than the middle class went to hang out. It was more organized in the middle class rather than the working class. It wasn't as clean in the working class as the middle class. It was all organized and stuff. And the people dressed here, they were dressed more like they were going somewhere and then they were dressed nice and really working class.
What do you think that means, that it's more populated in the places where the working class are hanging out?
There's like less people who afford
Right. Good. Good. Because they probably
Yeah.
couldn't afford the more expensive middle class things, but a lot of people could afford things like the fair. Is that what they were at? Some kind of world fair or something? Okay, great. Did you guys get some notes on that? Good. All right, let's go to clothing. Kit Lang and Alejandro will. Can you guys see those pictures? First, tell us which one are the working class.
And this is more of the middle class. The working class is more like dirty, like just like dirty, like you just have cloth, and this is like more nicer and fancier, fashionable, high class, more fabric, expensive, and this one, it's uncomfortable, cheap, and it's something that you can make up handmade, and this one, able to.
So you think that the people in the
Yeah,
working
the
class
people in the
probably
working
made their
class
own
made their own
clothes,
clothes.
but probably not
Yeah,
the middle class?
just like telling the
Probably.
differences, because this one has more fabric, and these are just cloth.
And
they
you,
want-
did you say something about the working class clothes being more comfortable? The-
Uncomfortable.
The working class would be more uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Did the clothes in the middle class look comfortable?
Well,
Yeah.
some of them,
Yeah,
well,
'cause
some of them do,
Some of
but
them
not all of them.
do, not
Of course,
all.
it's supposed to be incredibly uncomfortable.
Thank you. Did you guys see,
Look how thin their
Princess
waist
Diaries.
is.
no, not, yeah, Princess Diary, but remember Pirates of the Caribbean? Where they're cinching her up in that?
It looks like
And she said, women in England must have learned not to breathe or something. So I don't think that their clothes would have been so comfortable.
Unless they're really
But,
skinny.
I mean, some of them are pretty comfortable though.
These are
Maybe.
They're stiff.
They're stiff, huh?
So it's more.
I know.
It's uncomfortable for them to walk. Like,
Right.
these would be more warmer. Yeah.
It would, yeah, they're just Band-Aid pieces.
With their clothes
Some have
being
more
so,
matches than others. Like these, you can be warm in it,
Uh-huh.
but it's stiff at the same time. And these
right.
can be cold and it's not.
It's not like
Why do you think it's important for the working class to have loose fitting clothes that they can move in? Yeah,
Most of the time.
yeah. Because did the middle class women, do you think that they
Probably not.
were going to be doing labor?
Yeah.
Probably not so much, so it's okay if they couldn't move much because they didn't have to move much. Okay, thanks. Did you guys get some notes on that for yours? Okay, cool.
Next,
Uh-huh, yeah.
for the working class, they wore dirty, the areas they worked in were dirty and unclean. Girls worked in sewing while the boys worked with more dangerous things like glass, working at young ages and prone to more disease and infections, dangerous machines, and playing in dirty areas.
Did you get some notes on that? So they, you noticed the difference between the work that boys did and girls did. What did the boys do?
They worked in class.
Dangerous work in the mines and the factories. I think the women or the girls are also working in factories, but different types, sewing.
Less dangerous, but still.
Still unsafe and
yeah, you could
unclean,
you could
and
still-
their children,
Yeah.
but there's still some differences. Go ahead.
Middle class, the children didn't work. They played circle games in clean kept spaces. They had safe work areas for the workers. They were wealthier than the lower class, better clothing, and not much children, so they had more money.
That's right. Oh, good. You noticed that. There's less children in the middle class families.
Kids that actually have time to play.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Did you see the pictures of the middle class working children? I don't think so. That's a trick question. I don't think the. Right.
Middle class is like they get to have fun and play.
Uh huh.
They got to actually be kids.
Yeah. Okay, let's move along to living conditions.
I'll hold the pictures for you.
Stand over here so can get your voice a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, the living conditions for the working class are very dirty and scummy. And there's like limited furniture. There's like dirt floors, like it wasn't clean. And there's like little to no roofing, and it's like very crowded in there because I have like a lot of kids. And then in the middle class, it was like big houses and stuff, a lot of room. It was comfortable and like fashionable furniture. There's tile floors and like maids and stuff and monkeys for them.
Good. Okay. Great. Okay, so good job, you guys. Then let's just have a little discussion on these observations that you made. So what do they tell us about living in the during the Industrial Revolution?
Very, very hard times.
For whom?
Poor. And great times for the middle and the high class.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that something he said, that you know that you've arrived when you have servants, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to do work in the factories. They didn't even want to do their work in their homes too, huh?
Yeah.
That was like a sign. Okay, how were their lives? You can look at either class, but how were their lives different from yours? Let's look at the working class children.
They didn't have an education.
Yeah, and you get to go to school,
Yeah, you actually get to go to school.
or do you have to?
Yeah, most of the
Well, we have to now, but back then, I don't think people really, I don't think there was a truant officer if you ever were not in school.
No, I don't think so. Maybe for not being at work, or you just lose your job.
Yeah.
Food and
Mm-hmm.
we bathe in clean water.
Uh-huh.
We don't like use the same water.
That's right. We have a lot more access to clean water, better living conditions. How are our lives, or how are your lives similar to theirs?
Well, I usually,
Let's hear from Caitlin. They what?
We still have consequences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You still have to work, but it's not as bad or as awful as they had with it.
Good, yeah. Right. I would still consider myself working class. I don't have servants and I work for a living, but being working class is a lot different than it was a long time ago. Huh? Okay. So you guys have any questions? And do you feel like maybe you're a little bit more prepared for next week's test because you just got a little deeper into it?
What day?
Huh? I don't know. Friday? I'm guessing. Okay, thanks you guys. We're all done. Thank you so much.